Kavalspressen
Good evening. Welcome to our second episode of Kavalspressen. I'm your host, Ponce Ferguson. As I said, this is our second show and already we have received some good comments. We've also received some good advice. One of our viewers inquired if we were going to have a Spanish version of the show. Well, at one point we thought about it and decided not to, but since it resurfaced, we've decided to go ahead and produce a separate show completely and totally in Spanish. No subtitles, no voiceovers, no nothing. The show will be entirely in Spanish. We've set November 5th as our Spanish premiere. On that day, we will upload two different shows, one in Spanish and this one, our main English program. I want to thank those of you who are already becoming part of our viewership. And I begin with this. Bremerton School District is a public school district in Kitsap County in Washington State. It serves the city of Bremerton. The district has an enrollment of 5,500 students approximately. In all, it have 14 education centers, one of which is Bremerton High School, the only high school in the district. Well, it turns out that the school football coach, Joe Kennedy, prays at the 50-yard line after every game. He does so on his own without inviting any players, as he is forbidden to do so by law. Well, won't you know that the school district not only reprimanded him for praying in public, but insisted that he stop praying or else he would lose his job. All because he prays at the end of every game. In a letter the school district sent Coach Kennedy saying, and I'm quoting, "Because you are an employee of the district, you cannot show signs of religious affiliation." It goes on to say that while on duty of the district and as an assistant coach, you cannot engage in demonstrative religious activity readily observable to students and the public. Really? Is this what we've come to? The forbidding of prayer after a game? I understand not talking religion in the classroom or even in the locker room. I understand not talking religion while on the clock as an employee of the district. Although I don't agree with all those religious restrictions, I do understand them. But at the end of the game, the man is off the clock, for goodness sake. He can do whatever he wants to. If public entities like the school systems and government agencies think they have the authority and power to direct employees' lives when all activity related to these agencies are over, especially when they are seemingly doing nothing wrong or illegal, what else should we expect from them? Next thing you know, they will be prying into our own personal lives. You know, what I don't understand? Let me tell you what I don't understand. The fact that someone who have committed the most heinous crime, the most violent, despicable crime can be afforded the opportunity to read the Bible and yes, even pray without any reprisal. And the truth is that when we see an inmate studying and reading the Bible and even praying, we become so elated. We marvel at the thought and the sight. But we frown and puff and become bothered when a nobleman does something as noble as praying. These United States of America was founded on the belief that every man, every human being has the God-given purpose to practice his own religion anywhere and everywhere without the fear that he might lose his job or be reprimanded for exercising his right. If a man that has given up his right to freedom can pray in a state-run facility, then sure enough, a man who has not done anything illegal but instead has fought for this country, sure enough, that man can pray in any part of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Go, Coach Kennedy, go. On our show last week, we reported on the immigration crisis many European countries are facing as hundreds of thousands of Syrians, Africans, and people from other countries flee their countries to seek refuge in countries like Greece, Italy, France, and Spain. We showed you a clip from the non-profit organization Samaritan's Purse, where a small group of Syrians arrive on the shores of Lesbos Island in Greece on a small raft. These immigrants are fleeing their countries due to the civil war and political turmoil at home, many of whom cannot return for fear of reprisal. Those images are replicated days in and days out, not only on the shores, European shores, but across the Mexican-American border as well. The difference here, though, is that many Latin Americans crossing the United States border are not necessarily running away from war or political upheaval. They are just looking for a chance to better themselves. Yes, both cases are relatively different in nature, but similar in purpose. Civil war, political threats, and financial crisis cannot and should not be compared to gang or drug-related activities, though they might derive from the same evil. No question there, no comparison in nature. The purpose, however, is the same: seeking an opportunity for a better way of life. That is man's golden goal, or golden goal, yes. An opportunity to improve his life and that of his loved ones. This brings us to a study done by the Pew Research Center, which says that there were 11.3 million unauthorized immigrants in the United States in 2014. According to the report, that population has remained essentially stable for the past 5 years. Interestingly enough, the report also cites that illegal immigrants currently make up 3.5% of the nation's population. But here's the interesting thing about these figures. While illegal immigrants make up 3.5% of the American population, at the same rate, unauthorized immigrants make up 5.1% of the total U.S. labor force, the study shows. 1 second, did I read that correctly? Illegal immigrants are 3.5% of the United States population but make up more than 5% of the country's labor force? Doesn't that tell us something? Doesn't that tell us that immigrants play a vital role in the U.S. economy? Think about this for a second. Think about this. Collectively, they paid an estimated $10.6 billion to state and local taxes in 2010, according to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, a research organization that works on tax policy issues. Undocumented immigrants do not qualify for welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, and most other public benefits. Most of these programs require proof of legal identity anyways. Even legal immigrants cannot receive these benefits until they have been in the United States for more than 5 years. The truth is that undocumented immigrants contribute more in payroll taxes than they will ever consume in public benefits. This being the case, why is it so difficult for lawmakers to come up with a comprehensive immigration reform that not only will help immigrants ascertain a legal status whereby they can improve their life, but a reform or system that will continue to strengthen and satisfy the American public and its economy? Why is it so difficult for us to try to help on one hand those who are disadvantaged and then try to strengthen our economy at the same time on the other hand? And this is my favorite segment, one of my favorite segments of the day. It's the shoe fly segment. This is where I'm going to tell you who should get out of the way. So our shoe fly of the day is none other than the Bremerton School District in Washington State. They need to really go away somewhere and leave people alone. Let people do whatever they want to do and pray or whatever it is after a game or whatever. I say let Coach Kennedy pray at whatsoever line he wants, so long as he doesn't invite, request, or force any of his players to follow along. Shoo, fly, shoo, Bremerton School District, be gone. All right. In other news, in other healthy news, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, the cancer agency of the World Health Organization, classified processed meat as carcinogenic to humans. Experts concluded that each 50-gram portion of processed meat eaten daily increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. The evaluation reveals strong mechanistic evidence supporting a carcinogenic effect for red meat consumption, mainly for cancer of the colon and the rectum, but also the pancreas and the prostate. Red meat includes beef, veal, pork, lamb, mutton, horse, and goat. As for processed meat, it includes hot dogs, sausages, corned beef, dried meat like beef jerky or Southern African biltong, canned meat or meat-based sauces. There was sufficient evidence in humans that the consumption of processed meat causes colorectal cancer. So there we go. There we go. And there we go. Thank God there is somebody or some organization now that have scientific proof that eating meat is not good for the human body. Okay, and now finally this. You've probably heard by now that a powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocked Afghanistan earlier Monday, October 26. The South Asia quake was so powerful that it was felt in Pakistan, India, and Tajikistan as well. The epicenter of the quake was in the Afghan city of Jarm, a rural and sparsely populated area. At least 154 deaths have been reported in Pakistan, according to authorities there. Afghan officials report at least 74 deaths in that country's northeastern provinces. One death has been reported in Indian-controlled areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Our prayers and thoughts are with those who are suffering at this moment. Well, everyone, this is it for now. We'd like to inform you or repeat that starting on Thursday, November the 5th, we will begin our first Spanish broadcast, Kavalspressen Español. So spread the word to all your Hispanic friends. Let them know that our show will be broadcast completely in Spanish. No subtitles, no voiceovers, no nothing. It will be totally in Spanish. We thank you for your company and look forward to having you on Thursday. Remember that new shows are uploaded to our website every Tuesdays and Thursdays. For all of us here at Kavalspressen, I'm Ponce Ferguson. Good night.
Kavalspressen.